Hello, welcome again to Zalengam Media. Our motto, Voice of the Voiceless. Today, April 13th, 2025. Meitei militants groups like Arambai Tenggol and others trying to trespass Kuki territory by crossing buffer zone. Here is what the Kuki organization's strongly object Meitei Arambai Tenggol's attempt to enter Thangting Mountain. 13. April 2025, Songpi Lamka District. A dramatic escalation in the ongoing Kuki-Meitei conflict unfolded today as various Kuki civil society organizations, CSOs, vehemently opposed the alleged attempt of Meitei Arambai Tenggol militants to enter the sacred Thangting Mountain region, an area deeply rooted in Kuki ancestral heritage and identity. What has ensued is a resolute and categorical refusal from the Kuki community, echoed by a massive mobilization of protest and reinforced by a united front from several powerful Kuki organizations. The historical backdrop of 3rd May 2023. To understand the intensity of the present opposition, one must look back to the tragic events of 3rd May 2023, which are etched in the collective memory of the Kuki people as a dark turning point in their relationship with the Meitei community. On this day, what initially began as ethnic and political tension escalated into full-blown violence, resulting in the wholesale displacement of the Kuki population from the Meitei-dominated Imphal Valley. Over 300 Kuki villages were burned down, and hundreds of innocent Kuki men, women, and children were either butchered, shot dead, or tortured in the most horrific manner imaginable. Even Kuki women were not spared. They became the targets of barbaric sexual violence, including molestation, rape, and, in some documented cases, being tortured to death. These atrocities were not mere incidents of mob fury, but part of an orchestrated campaign of ethnic cleansing, designed to root out the Kuki identity from the valley. A point of no return, Kuki repercussions. In response to the brutalities of 2023, Kuki civil society organizations have made it crystal clear that the days of coexistence under Meitei hegemony are over. Among the first to issue a strong statement of condemnation were the Kuki Chiefs Association, KCA, and Kuki-Inpi Churachandpur, KIC. Both organizations representing a vast network of tribal leaders and civil society across the hill districts dismissed the Meitei's attempt to visit or enter Kuki ancestral lands, such as Thangting Mountain, as nonsensical, provocative, and unacceptable. In their press release, the Kuki-Inpi Churachandpur stated, "From May 3rd, 2023 onwards, Kukis were violently and entirely removed from Meitei territories. Not a single Kuki village remains within the Imphal Valley. The separation is complete and irreversible. Any effort by Meiteis to set foot on Kuki territory will be considered a direct provocation and a threat to our people." The Kuki CSOs have thus drawn a hard line, asserting that Meiteis will never again be allowed into the Kuki-dominated hill district, especially not militant groups like the Arambai Tenggol, which have been widely accused of carrying out acts of violence and intimidation against Kuki civilians. The sacredness of Thangting Mountain. The attempted entry into Thangting Mountain by Meitei groups is perceived not just as an intrusion, but a desecration. Thangting is not merely a geographic landmark, but a sacred mountain deeply embedded in the Kuki-zo cosmology, tribal heritage, and ancestral identity. It holds spiritual and historical significance to the Kuki people, who have worshipped and protected it for generations. Any perceived Meitei attempt to stake a claim or conduct religious political incursions here is not only rejected, but condemned in the strongest terms. Given this, the presence or movement of Arambai Tenggol, militants in or around the buffer zones near Torbung, Kongvai, Gothol, Kusabung, and N. Zelenfai, is viewed as a calculated move to provoke conflict and assert dominance, but the Kuki resistance is equally firm and coordinated. Mass mobilization and sit-in protest. In a remarkable display of unity and resolve, thousands of Kuki women flooded the streets across Songpai, Nulamka, and several locations in Songpi district today, staging peaceful yet powerful sit-in protests. Clad in traditional Kuki attire, women and young girls held placards denouncing the Meitei intrusion and chanted slogans demanding the complete separation of Thangting control from the Imphal-based government. The protest was organized by a coalition of various Kuko CSOs, including Kuki Women Union for Justice, KWJ, Zomi Mothers Association, ZMA, United Kuki Youth Front, UKYF, Kuki Students Organization, KSOHQ, Joint Coordination Committee on Tribal Resistance, JCCTR. The recurring sentiment voiced by protesters was that until and unless a separate administration for Kukis is established, there can be no peace, no negotiation, and certainly no entry of Meitei individuals or groups into our land. Fencing the buffer zones, drawing the new line. Today's protest did not merely stay symbolic. Around 10,000 Kuki volunteers, men and women alike, took to strategic border locations and erected temporary bamboo fences, banners, and barricades to reinforce the buffer zones that have organically developed between the Kuki and Meitei territories since 2023. These buffer areas in Torbung, Kangvai, N. Zalenfai, P. Gelbung, and Leilampat serve as unofficial yet sacrosanct boundaries, the crossing of which could spark another violent flashpoint. These zones are not just physical borders, but psychological and political front lines, representing the fracture in inter-community trust and the impossibility of peaceful coexistence under a unified Manipur state structure. Call for separate administration, a non-negotiable stand. The repeated assertion across all Kuki platforms is the demand for a separate administration, independent from the Manipur state governance, which, according to the Kukis, has remained complicit or silent in the face of Meitei aggression. "We are no longer demanding autonomy within Manipur," said a spokesperson of Kuki INPI. "We demand total administrative, political, and territorial separation. We have seen enough of violence, betrayal, and genocidal silence." It is a sentiment that has found traction beyond Churachandpur. Kuki communities in Ferzaul, Kangpokpai, Tengnupal, and even border villages in Mizoram and Nagaland have expressed solidarity. The call for a union territory with legislature or an arrangement similar to that of Bodoland is gaining ground in formalization. Arambai Tenggol, a symbol of aggression. Much of the fear and fury stems from the alleged presence of Arambai Tenggol, a Meitei radical outfit widely accused of inciting ethnic tensions and violence. This group, often armed and militant in approach, is viewed by Kuki CSOs as a paramilitary instrument of Meitei expansionism. Their recent movements towards Thangting Mountain, if confirmed, are not seen as benign pilgrimages or cultural tours, but as a militarized reconquest intended to reclaim Kuki lands by invoking ancestral claims that are hotly disputed. An unfolding standoff. With the fences up and tensions high, the situation in Lamka, Torbung, and its peripheries is tense and volatile. The district administration has yet to make a formal statement, but local observers report that security forces are maintaining a careful distance, likely to avoid exacerbating the standoff. Meanwhile, Kuki CSOs have reiterated their readiness to defend their homeland by any means necessary, including nonviolent resistance, social boycotts, and, if needed, armed self-defense. The message is unambiguous. Meitei individuals or groups entering Kuki territories, especially militants, will not be tolerated. Conclusion: a line drawn in blood. The events of 13th April 2025 are not isolated. They are part of a broader narrative, one of suffering, resistance, and the redefinition of identity and sovereignty. The Kuki people, having endured genocidal violence, have chosen to reclaim agency over their land, heritage, and future. In this context, the Meitei attempt to enter Thangting Mountain is not merely a geographical trespass. It is an existential provocation. And for a people scarred by mass displacement, death, and silence from the state, the answer is firm and unwavering: no entry, no peace, no compromise until separation is achieved. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel Zalengam Media. Your support is very much crucial for the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.